What is a true polymath? Have you ever noticed that the people who are truly impressive are rarely just good at one thing? They're not just specialists. They often understand multiple different fields at the same time. And more importantly, they know how to connect those fields together and use them. These kinds of people are what we call polymaths. But here's the problem. The moment most people hear that word, they immediately back off. Because it sounds like something only geniuses can achieve. Like you need an extremely high IQ, a perfect memory, or some kind of natural talent since childhood, just to even qualify for the idea of being multidisciplinary. But if you really break this concept down, you might realize it's not actually like that. Why modern people need polymaths? For a long time, people believed one thing: you should specialize. Focus on one skill, don't try to do everything. Don't become average at many things. This idea is everywhere. But if you look at the world today, that reality has already changed. The environment is moving too fast, and what the modern world demands is no longer a single skill. It's a combination of skills. Because if your goal is to become the best in the world at one thing, you're competing against everyone else who is doing only that one thing. But if your goal is different, if your goal is to become strong in 3 or more different fields and combine them into a rare, unique skill set, then yes, it's still hard, but it might actually give you a much better chance to stand out. The real question is not, am I the best at one thing? The real question is, do I have a combination of skills that is hard to replicate? How people usually understand polymaths. There are generally 2 common ways people try to explain polymaths. The first idea is, some people are naturally gifted with multiple types of intelligence. The second idea is, some people have certain parts of their brain that are more developed, which makes them better at multiple domains. Let's start with the first one. This view says that intelligence is not just one thing. It's not just about language or logic. There are many forms, like spatial awareness, music, physical movement, social skills, self-awareness, and more. So according to this idea, if someone develops several of these abilities, they're more likely to become a polymath. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's the issue. Just because it sounds appealing doesn't mean it's precise. A lot of these abilities overlap, and it's actually very hard to clearly separate them. The second idea. Is it just your brain? The second explanation is more biological. It suggests that polymaths are exceptional because certain parts of their brain are more developed. Some areas are linked to reasoning, planning, language, spatial processing, sensory integration, movement, and so on. So people start to assume, if some parts are stronger, then naturally you become better across multiple domains. It's a very attractive explanation because it's simple. If you're good at logic, maybe one area is stronger. If you're good at art, maybe another part is dominant. It feels clean and intuitive, but reality isn't that linear. Most activities don't rely on just one area. They involve multiple systems working together, which means you can't easily reduce a complex ability to a single part of the brain. The key insight: polymath is not a genetic privilege. And this is where things become important. Whether you divide people into multiple intelligences or explain everything through brain structure, both approaches have limitations. The real takeaway is this: you don't need to prove you're gifted to become a polymath. You don't need to be certified as highly intelligent. You don't need to believe you were born with a better brain. Because what actually leads someone toward becoming a polymath comes down to 2 things: a willingness to learn different things, and the time and effort to actually learn them. This is important because it brings the idea of polymath down from mythology to reality. It's not reserved for a rare group of people. So what actually defines a polymath? A more practical way to understand it is through 3 components: breadth, depth, and integration. First, breadth. How many different fields you've explored. Second, depth. How far you've gone within a few of them. And third, the most important, integration. Because many people only have breadth. They consume a lot, they know a lot of concepts, but only on the surface. Some people have both breadth and depth. They've actually invested time in multiple areas, but even that is not enough. The real dividing line is this: can you integrate them? Can you take principles from one field and apply them to another? Can you combine unrelated ideas into new perspectives, new methods, new outcomes? If not, you simply know a lot. If yes, you're starting to move toward becoming a polymath. The real difference, not a collector, but an alchemist. This is where many people get confused. They think being a polymath means, I know many things, I have many interests, I've explored many domains. But that's not enough. A true polymath is not a collector of knowledge. They are an alchemist of knowledge. They don't store skills separately. They let them interact. You can know art, math, and engineering. That doesn't mean much by itself. But if you bring mathematical thinking into art and visual thinking into engineering, now something changes. So the real question is not, how many things do you know? It's, do those things work together? Where should you start? If you want to move toward becoming a polymath, the first step is not to suddenly master everything. The first step is to change one question. Stop only asking, what am I best at? Start asking, which 3 or more different fields can combine into my unique advantage? And those fields should not be too similar, because if they are too close, they won't create true cross-pollination. You don't want duplicates of the same skill. You want combinations that amplify each other. So what is a polymath? Not a born genius, not someone chosen by fate, not someone who just knows a lot of random facts. A true polymath has breadth, has depth, but more importantly, they can integrate. They connect knowledge across domains and make it work together. And this ability is not something you can only admire, it's something you can build. So maybe the real question isn't, am I smart enough? Maybe the real question is, can what I'm learning today combine with other completely different fields to create something that's hard to replace? Thank you for watching. If this helped you see things differently, like and subscribe. Next, we'll break down how to actually build your own polymath system.